All right, this video comes out from Das Food, which is some of you have watched before. This video says, we're so back, baby. And it just has the alien on the thumbnail. So I guess they're going to talk about how excited they are to have the alien in the game. Hopefully. I mean, that's just kind of my guess. The title is not giving me much to go on. But either way, Das Food is a great creator that we have watched more than once before. So make sure you hit that link in the description down below if you're watching on YouTube, or in the chat if you're here on Twitch live, to like and subscribe to this creator, because they are great and you should support them, or else I hate you. Yeah, don't be a jerk.
This news from Dead by Daylight and why it's much bigger than it initially seems. So, before going any further, let's address the double-mouthed elephant in the room. Alien is coming to Dead by Daylight. For those who still have somehow not seen it, here's the teaser trailer Behavior put out.
It's so good. I just noticed that volume down there and it was just hanging out. One thing I will say about the design that's slightly off, and just nitpicking as a fan of the series, his head is really big. Like width-wise, not length-wise. Length is fine. The width of his head is a little bulbous, and I don't know why. I did notice that when I was playing with it.
This is obviously and undeniably a big deal on its own merit. Alien is one of the most prestigious, famous, and culturally important franchises in the history of horror, no matter how much they try to ruin it.
Yeah, that game was terrible. And I grinded that game. I grinded Clone Marines. I was that big of an Alien fan that I stuck with that game and grinded it, played that multiplayer, ranked up so much. I suffered in pain. I suffered in so much pain because I loved this franchise so much. That game was so terrible. You know why that game was so terrible? Because the AI was, I think it was like, I forget the exact specifics, but essentially like while they were coding the aliens in the game, they messed up like one tiny part of the code that was really simple, and it broke everything. They broke everything. It broke the AI, period. Which is just like, how do you take such an important franchise, an important game, and you just mess up that heckin' badly? How?
This is easily one of the 5 or so biggest licenses that they could have added to DBD at this point in time. And if I'm being honest, this announcement was extremely necessary for the long-term health of the game. There's a lot to like about the modern state of DBD. Balancing is in a generally good place, most killers are pretty healthy at the moment, and the player count is still going ridiculously strong. Despite these things, there was a major issue facing the game, and that issue was that the licensed chapters had definitely lost a little bit of their luster. I know some people are going to balk at that assertion, but it's more of a matter of record than personal opinion.
Okay.
Just think about the early licenses as compared to what we've been getting lately. Early on, we started off with Halloween, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Saw. All 4 of those are era-defining mega franchises with huge built-in fan bases. We also technically got Left 4 Dead content, which was originally just for the PC, but even then, look, we're talking about one of, if not the greatest and most popular co-op games of all time. From there, the licenses did keep going strong, with shocking additions like Ghostface, Stranger Things, Silent Hill, and
Stranger Things is pretty huge too.
But then, somewhere along the way, the hype train slowed down considerably. While I am absolutely in favor of adding more niche characters to the game, and I am not commenting on the quality of the chapters in discussion, Behavior seemed to commit to a long window of less desired properties, more pet projects being added to the game. We got Hellraiser, which is an awesome movie, but nowhere near as popular in the mainstream as some horror fans seem.
It is. Hey, I don't agree with that one. Pinhead's pretty. If you show Pinhead to anybody, they know what he's from. Pinhead's pretty iconic. Pinhead's pretty iconic. I don't know about that. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. Most people recognize Pinhead. I don't know about that.
And then there was Ringu, the superior but lesser known version of a film that's already pretty far removed from the public's eye.
Well, just not in the Western world. Yo, John, thanks so much for the follow, friend. I hella appreciate that. That's very, very kind of you. Hopefully your night is treating you well. If you homies really like Killer, and enjoy some mostly Blight, some Billy gameplay tied in there. Very, very good homie to watch for that. Very much makes me happy when I'm sitting there, I'm editing late at night, and I can put on some nice cozy gameplay in the background. So make sure you follow that homie. Make sure you follow that homie.
Here in Project W were a hit, admittedly, but this was the game double dipping in a license it had already explored, so some of that excitement and some of that initial pop was already gone. It was cool,
Pop Goes Weasel?
don't get me wrong, it was cool to see more Resident Evil, but the hype wasn't the same as the first time around.
That is
even
true.
If people most certainly like Wesker's power more than that of Nemesis.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, and there's also the benefit that the game didn't like completely break on Project W's
That's
release,
true.
so
Daddy, no.
it
That's
is
true.
definitely the better Resident Evil chapter between the two. And then finally we got Nick Cage, which it's
Most
goofy
critical playing
and
DB. I'm gonna
it's
hear
fun
that
and
till
all
I'm
that,
dead.
But did
I'm literally gonna
anybody
hear that
start
comparison
playing
till
the
I'm
game
dead.
just for
It's
him
never gonna stop.
outside of maybe Nick Cage himself? This is easily the
I do think that more people came back to play Nick Cage than new players did, which I find very funny. Very funny. Like, it feels like more players came back to Survivor to play Nick Cage than we actually got new players, which is very hilarious. The guy in video, Das Fu? He does kind of have that cadence. I kind of see what you mean. You know, like, you know how Charlie talks that, you know, talking like this kind of voice, you know, like he kind of has that to him. You're right. I didn't even realize that. That's interesting.
the least impactful license to date, and it was starting to look like joining the DBD roster just wasn't as much of an honor as it had previously been. Because it used to mean something, right? It used to mean that if you were added to the game, you were on the Rushmore of horror, or you were at least in that conversation.
Yeah, I'm crazy. He thinks
But
Pinhead
now
isn't a
we
part
were
of that.
having, I mean, again, Nick Cage had been added, so I don't know. Long story short, the game was in a major rut from a hype standpoint and needed something to reinvigorate the fan base. We needed the type of license that makes people say, no way, I can't believe
Yeah,
they
that's
added
true. We haven't had that
the
in a
type
while.
where casuals flood the game, which I know, some people treat that like it's a bad word. Like, oh no, not casuals. Games need casuals. You need them. We need the type of thing where a true icon of the genre is added to the ranks. We needed an A-lister, but the issue is that there are only so many properties that can...
Gaming is a sandwich. Gaming sales are a sandwich. You have us and we're the filling. We're technically like not the most important part of a gaming sandwich. Sucks. The people who actually pay attention to the game, play the game a lot, we're kind of the least important part of a sandwich, unfortunately. The important parts of a gaming sandwich are the whales, as we'll call them, as they're commonly referred to, are the people who are obsessed with the game and buy literally everything. Literally buy everything. And I mean like almost every cosmetic. Like, their money goes all into the game. And then the other end of the sandwich, the other side of the bread, is casual gamers who, you know, pick up the game, only buy it and play it for like maybe 20 hours tops. But hey, Behavior already has their $20. And then every once in a while, they'll come back because, ooh, wait, Nick Cage is in the game. They come back, buy a couple cosmetics for Nick Cage. They go away again. Oh, Alien's in the game. I guess I'll buy the Alien DLC. Get their $10, go back in the ether. Those are the two pieces of bread of the gaming sandwich. The casual gamers and the whales. So those are the people they work to appease the most.
truly fit that billing. Predator, Friday the 13th, and a few others do come to mind, but Alien is definitely part of that conversation. The Xenomorph is debatably the greatest movie monster of all time, and the original 1979 film is one of the scariest sci-fi films ever made. Add in that Ripley is easily one of the greatest survivors in the history of horror.
Yes,
and this
agreed.
was a no-brainer of a choice if DBD could get the
Very much
license
agreed.
to use the property. Now that everything is confirmed, it's safe to say the licensing rut is officially broken. This chapter should, by all means, put fire in players' bellies and lead to a spike in interest in the game.
How's it going, homie? How are
With
you?
this chapter, the game is adding an
We're Tuesday as
iconic
well.
monster, survivor, and map all at once. And I don't use the word iconic lightly here.
Yeah.
After years of servicing more niche interests, which again is totally cool and something the devs should continue to do in the future, the game fired back to life and added a property from the proverbial Horror Hall of Fame. Quick aside here,
Hall of
but
Fame's a
I
good way to put it.
did tell y'all the leaks were likely real. Look, I don't have sources, and look, I'm not going to dwell on it, but I wasn't huffing copium when I made that one video, as I was accused of doing. Sometimes timing can be a little funky, but there did seem to be fire behind all that smoke, so this is my chance to say, neener neener, I told you so. Speaking of smoking fires, let's not be so quick as to forget that the other license coming this year has also been promised to be another capital L license. license, like Alien. Per the developers themselves, Year 8 is going to have 2 license chapters, and both of them are going to be massive IPs. Assuming they haven't misjudged the popularity of whatever comes next, that means we're looking at the possibility for the greatest year in the history of Dead by Daylight. Already, the projection
Obviously, the next one up would probably be Predator, because they're owned by the same rights holder. So if they could negotiate for Alien, they probably could have negotiated for Predator as well at the same time, and they're just going to release it down the line there. The smart thing and the big thing would be smart thing and the big thing would be FNAF, because Five Nights at Freddy's is releasing its first feature film the end of October here, and is obviously would be a huge, ginormous cash cow for the game. So doing that one-off with Springtrap or whoever that happens to be, that would make immense amounts of money for Dead by Daylight. Either of which, I mean, honestly, either of those are going to make immense amount of money for the game. Yeah, that's what we're looking at. Those are my projections. Those are what I think it would probably be, one of the two. Well, on PTB, yeah, it was just like we're doing React Andy stuff like we do every single Tuesday. And like queue times we're getting up into like the 10-minute zone again for playing the Xenomorph, so yeah.
It's clear that Year 8 is going to absolutely smoke Year 7 in terms of quality. Year 7 gave us Roots of Dread, which was a decent original chapter, Project W, a good licensed chapter, Forged in Fog, a subpar original, and Tools
terrible.
of Torment, an abysmal failure on nearly every level. It was one of the weakest years in the game's lifetime in regards to added content.
PTB the Dark One, we're just doing
React
content right now.
They needed to top it this time around. And they're off to a great start, as Year 8 has already given us In Transmission, which is a decent original, very comparable to Roots of Dread, and now Alien, which is huge. Year 8 is likely already better than Year 7. Addition by subtraction is a very real thing, and subtracting Scully is just huge. But if they go out and snag another massive IP, forget about beating Year 7. We're looking at something that might be able to compete with Years 1 and 4. I'm using the word if a lot, but if we look back on Year 8 as the year where we got In Transmission, Alien, and another major license plus a good original chapter, this could quickly enter legendary status. Just imagine if the next license is any of them I mentioned earlier, or something popular like FNAF, or the long-prophesied return of Stranger Things with a new chapter.
Don't think that's going to happen, because if you guys aren't privy to this information, Stranger Things or Netflix has apparently just not been answering any sort of negotiations or messages or any sort of reaching out from Matthew Cote. They just, not even just like, no, we're still not interested. Like, just straight up not answering the guy. Which is like really painful considering that they had a working relationship at one point. Like, what? Huh? Yeah, so I don't think so.
Technically, yes, I said Project W was less exciting because of the first Resi chapter, but I do think it's different because getting a second Stranger Things chapter would be entirely unprecedented because it would be the first time an expired license returned to the game. Plus, for me personally, I just really miss the Hawkins map. I know.
No,
I
you
loved
don't.
it, and I would like to have it back.
All
of this to say, and I know I've said a lot, and I'm starting to border on rambling. This is a great day for the players.
Yeah, I agree, John.
Our spirits were bolstered by a great anniversary.
The thing that made Netflix really cool is that it had everything. And when they started making their original shows and stuff, they were actually good at first. Now their original shows aren't that good, and most of the stuff that they have has been spread across like 3 or 4 other streaming services. So you're not getting the cool original content, but you're also not getting a massive library, which kind of defeats the purpose of a streaming service to begin with. So, yeah.
And the long-awaited return of the scorching summer barbecue. But this is a return to form for the game's most common means of growth, licensed content. This is not a niche property that 12 people will be excited for. This is huge. This is on par with Halloween, Stranger Things, and Resident Evil. There is no growing to know, growing to love Alien. People already know and love Alien. And if they do what we know they want to do and they add the Xenomorphs...
Dude, so many times I have heard, but between the announcement and like even today, hearing people be like, "Oh, I've never watched Alien, so I don't care for the chapter." Like, you were such a little... Just want to Come here, come here. I'm just gonna show you something. I'm just gonna show you something.
Oh, I don't really care for Alien. I've never seen it, so I don't really give a shit. Please tell me the map isn't fully indoor.
Like, there's just little swarmy little shitheads. That just don't understand the gravity of how important of an IP this is and how much like health it's gonna bring to the game by even having it. Just because it is such a big deal. Just no awareness whatsoever. And just the swarmy little, I know everything about DBD, I'm superior kind of attitude. Like, made me angry today. Made me angry since they've announced it. Just that swarmy attitude of like, DBD incelism, like, brother, shut up.
Cousin to the game, the Yautja, the Predator. Forget about it. This is a golden age, right? This is Civ 6 and we just hit a golden age. And all the
not you, Rick. Not you.
Aggressive messages. Maybe a dark age is just around the corner. You never know, right? One day you're living it up in Rome, and then boom, Rome's been sacked. It happens. But this feels like the start of a golden age for the game. At the very least, we're getting an awesome chapter, and things are great at the moment. So, from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you to the devs. Great job. Y'all killed it with this one, and I'm very excited to see where the game goes from here. But that's my spiel. Go on.
Yeah, they had to negotiate with Fox, which is owned by Disney, which is that had to be
what
tough.
Do you hope the other major license is? Am I being bought out by big behavior and I'm just a shill for them? No, by the way, they don't talk to me, but
they don't talk to you.
The line's opening. If they want to give me like a purple Twitch shirt or something, that'd be cool. Speaking of Twitch, I do have a channel. Go check that out. Dawson_food. But either way, let me know down below how you feel. Hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are. And until next video, I've been DasFood. Bye, friends.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Ooh, now we're just at a black screen. There we go. Yeah, like that. I like I said, I think people are really undervaluing the DBD community, just like how important and cool that having the alien in the game is. This is literally just as important as the Halloween chapter, which really put DBD into like that started the landslide, right? Because like literally Halloween is like arguably the biggest horror franchise of all time, most recognizable horror franchise of all time. This is like the second biggest. This is the second biggest. Like it is literally that important and influential to like common culture. In our pop culture, sorry, it's common culture. But it's kind of the same thing. Like it's super important. So the fact that they got this is really cool, especially like Matt said, it's because like Fox is now owned by Disney, which means like they had to deal with that in order to get the license. Like it's really, really cool. We're really lucky to have it. Especially considering how big it is. Especially how big this is. And it just feels like, I don't know. Not to end the video, or the video for... On YouTube, it'll be the video, but for you guys, we're going to keep going. But not to end this on a sour note, but like, I feel like DBD players are just so like swarmy and stupid sometimes. Just like I hope the map better not all be indoor. I wouldn't have cared if it was. I wouldn't have cared if it was, because like it's really like we gotta have the Nostromo from that film in our map, because it's literally the setting of one of the coolest horror films to ever exist, one of the coolest movies to ever exist. Oh yeah, Alien's way bigger than Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th. Friday the 13th was made just to exist in the shadow of Halloween. And Nightmare on Elm Street was vaguely similar, but at least Wes Craven had his own vision to do something supernatural and cool with it. Those videos were made in the make of Halloween, to mimic Halloween. Alien was completely original. Based on work by H.R. Geiger, inspired by other sci-fi films that came before it, but not really in the scary horror direction that it took. Like, it's iconic. It really is iconic. It really is iconic. And the fact that they would try to like jeopardize or downplay the chapter and compromise its quality just for DBD-isms is just like, it's very icky, very gross, and just kind of shows how like swarmy and up their own as a lot of the DBD community is, you know, very, very swarmy. Yeah, it's like the blueprint. Yeah, it's like the blueprint. Yeah, it's like Halloween was the blueprint for the whole slasher genre, which, you know, you could argue that like, well, Texas Chainsaw was kind of like the blueprint for Halloween, but like, you know, that's kind of like debatable, right? But like for sci-fi horror, the blueprint is Alien. This jumping off point at which other sci-fi horror takes anything is Alien. And you can thank Alien for those things. Alien came out before Terminator. Alien came out before Predator. Alien came out before so many things that followed it. So many things that follow it. The thing was 1982, so yes. The thing was 1982, true. E.T.? E.T., hold on. What is E.T.'s release date? E.T. also came out after Alien, but not a horror movie. I mean, depending on how you look at that thing. Tell you actually how you feel about the puppet that they used. But yeah, like, Alien set up a lot of sci-fi horror to come. So you can thank it for a lot of those media that we have, like, that came after the fact. So yeah, don't let swarmy DVD players take that away from you or diminish that. It's very, very cool. Very, very awesome. So